We are the Church of the Larger Fellowship, the Unitarian Universalist congregation with no geographical boundaries. We believe in cultivating curiosity and transformation that is rooted in profound love.
For over 85 years, the ministries of the Church of the Larger Fellowship have circled the globe and crossed the walls of prisons. We are a spiritual lifeline for our over 2,000 members in prison, who are also connected to individual Unitarian Universalists through our letter writing ministry.
In our online community, we offer weekly worship, classes, and groups. Our monthly magazine, Quest, supports the spiritual lives of thousands around the globe. We know better than anyone how deep and meaningful connections can be formed even from a distance.
We are proud to be a leader in this faith movement, and we invite you to get involved in our ministry. We strive to be a place where anyone from anywhere can find spiritual refuge anytime they need it. Welcome to the Church of the Larger Fellowship.
We are so excited to bring you an all-new episode of the Voices of Unitarian Universalism, known affectionately as The View.
The View is a weekly Unitarian Universalist talk show discussing important faith-based topics from an anti-racist, anti-oppressive, and multicultural perspective.
Since 2013, we have gathered every Thursday from September to June to welcome guests from around the world.
Our guests are writers, scholars, activists, and religious thought leaders who are shaping Unitarian Universalism and society for the 21st century and beyond.
We hope that today's show inspires you. We hope it builds your faith and gives you perspective to see the power of Unitarian Universalism at work in your life.
Welcome to The View.
Welcome to The View, beloveds, the Voices of Unitarian Universalism. It is so good to be here with two of my very favorite people. A third of my very favorite people is off at a conference. We miss you, Aisha. We'll see you next week. I'm the Reverend Dr. Michael Tino. My pronouns are they and them. I'm coming to you from the land of the Kitchewan, Wappinger, and Munsee Lenape peoples, about 35 miles north of New York City. And I live in Snowmageddon. Let me tell you, it snowed so much in the city where I lived that schools were closed for 2 days, which I understand. In some parts of the country, schools are still closed 4 and 5 days later. I know I have a dear friend who works in the schools in Frederick, Maryland, and she's on day 4. The schools in Little Rock, Arkansas are still closed because they got a foot of snow in Little Rock, and they have like a plow and a half in Little Rock. But here in New York, where it snows often and much, there are many plows in my city of 25,000 people, and so 2 days was a lot. And it is like 7 degrees outside, and so none of it is melting. My poor solar panels on my roof are still covered up and not producing electricity. And someday it will melt and there will be flowers underneath it. Someday I can dream. But that's how I'm doing. I'm just dealing with the snow here in New York. I'm not in Albuquerque for the UU Ministers Institute because I had to be home to take care of my family. And I resent that a little bit, but I love my family, and I'll get over it eventually when people stop posting pictures of like going hiking in the mountains in New Mexico. So, DC Fortune, how are you?
Oh, I am doing well. I am the Reverend DC Fortune. I am coming to my pronouns are he and him. I'm coming to you from Auburn, Maine, which is the ancestral land of the Androscoggin people, which is also the name of the river that runs through the communities of Lewiston and Auburn. We got about 14, maybe 15 inches over between Sunday night and Tuesday morning. But Maine, we know what to do with it. We're just like, meh, all right. We'll stack it up in the grocery store parking lot for a while, and yeah, we just get through. Although I confess, it is cold here. It is cold, and today I am wearing flannel lined pants, which are a godsend. Um, yeah, so the excitement here was the snow, and of course we've had the frozen water assholes rampaging around our city in the last couple of weeks. So we'll talk more about that, I'm sure, later. Dante, how you doing there, sweetie?
Oh, I'm well. Hello, everyone. I'm the Reverend Dante Hilliard, and I'm here in a very cold city, Chicago, Illinois, USA, also the land of the Council of Three Fires. And by the way, flannel lined pants, that's cute, but you gotta check out silk long johns.
Oh, I got some of them too, but
Oh my gosh.
I don't need to wear those with the flannel lined pants. I'll just dye it.
Well, I like them because they're less bulky, but super warming.
Mm,
So you don't have all the bulk.
right. Yeah. I have long johns to go under my quilted overalls for when I go out and snowblow.
But do you have silk ones?
I don't. They're too
No.
expensive.
But
I
there
got
was
mine at the cheapo $10 discount wraps.
there's a place in Madison. You should look it up online. But I used to order mine from there even before I moved there.
Yeah. All right.
Pretty
So-
affordable and super warm.
Mm,
Like very, very warm. Anyway,
I get
so
it. I get it. Anyway.
we're all dealing with the cold across the country. And I guess we're going to deal with the temperature of the world for the rest of this hour.
Oh, I just want to say that our podcast for last week is up online. It was a unique challenge for LJ Williams, our podcast editor and broadcast producer, to have to edit that mess. Usually we try and find a theme. I don't know what LJ found as our theme because we
God bless LJ.
a wide-ranging and salty conversation. And LJ, we're gonna call this producer's challenge. Here, part two. Part two, producer's challenge. Because the world is on fire,
Mhm.
and we do have beloveds that are meeting that fire, or meeting the frozen water with fire,
Mm.
as it is,
Yeah, I got
in Minneapolis and in Maine and in now Georgia. They are a dear colleague posted a picture of the federal trucks on flatbeds being hauled into Atlanta. So
Mhm.
racing there to be the next place, the next place where the heinous
abductions, kidnapping, racist bullshit. Yeah. Go ahead, Michael.
I don't have anything coherent to say about the bullshit.
So I try not to talk about some of this stuff because as a descendant of people who were kidnapped and trafficked across the ocean and held in bondage for 400 years,
Mm-hmm.
who also is a Black Studies scholar who taught Black Studies courses on university campuses. And my students would always like, oh, Mr. Hilliard, you're just so angry. Oh, Mr. Hilliard, things are just not like that anymore.
Oh, shit.
Like, and I see it both inside of Black community spaces and particularly in the non-Black people of color community spaces, where it's like, do y'all really just, are you so brainwashed that you will refuse to learn from Black people
Mm.
because you can't learn unless you suffer it yourself. Like you won't believe that you ain't gotta even believe us. Like the historical record is what it is. You ain't gotta
Right.
talk to a Black person. You ain't gotta ask nobody to trauma dump
Right.
on
You can just look that shit up.
It's there.
Right.
This ain't nothing but slave catching.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't nothing but the Fugitive Slave Act.
Mhm.
This, like, my people have lived this. Or as the indigenous people who were forced onto reservations. They
Mhm.
know this shit is real. Like, we're not, no, you don't hear us be like, oh my God. And I'm just so sick of the news media. They're still using the word unprecedented for the
Oh, for fuck's sake.
like, and I mean, but it's
me.
just listen again. So, okay, I'm stop saying
This
trust.
entirely precedented and still heinous.
Learn from we are the canary in the coal mine.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Learn a lesson.
Well, and let's trace that lesson, right? So there were the slave patrols. And then when they abandoned the slave patrols, they started lynching people. And when that became politically unfavorable in certain ways, they just arrested folks and put them in prisons.
Yep.
Right? And so like there are through lines in American history.
Yeah, this is not new.
No.
And then people are, this is not America. Really?
Oh, bullshit it is.
Who's America?
1619. It's been America always.
This is
I
not
follow this woman she's on Facebook. She's on all the other socials too, but I'm too old and tech not good at this stuff to follow all that other stuff. She goes by Goddess Mia, Black woman, and she is just a delight and salty and she's like, y'all don't listen to Black women. This is what happens. And she is just fantastic. I love her to pieces. And yeah, like what you said, Dante, she's like, y'all are just finding out what we've been dealing with. Yeah.
Well, and that doesn't negate the fact that they are legitimately terrorizing communities.
Absolutely.
That there are children afraid to go to school.
Yep.
Because they might get scooped up and used as bait to catch their parents. It doesn't negate any of that.
No,
and it doesn't negate the grief in those communities and also the resistance in those communities.
Yeah. I just need people to understand. But there were some children who were always afraid to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people who have been living like this every day.
Yep.
For a long time.
Yep.
But when it's mostly happening to the marginalized of the marginalized, we tend to not care. When it's Black people or queer people or poor people, you know.
The human capacity for compassion is enormous, but the human use of compassion is pathetic. You know, like we have when we know, we can have compassion, but our ability to deny and ignore is horrifying. You know,
it is. It's
if it doesn't bite me personally directly in the ass, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Like, I'm anti-LGBTQ till my child comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And now I want right? And great that you've grown, and so if your child hadn't come out.
Welcome to the bus. You don't get a cookie.
Yes. Thank you, Michael.
Okay, thank you, Reverend Michael, because you brought me home. This is the same conversation I have with my friends about men. I get so sick how men get praised for doing some basic parenting.
Right?
Like being at home with their children. People like, oh, he babysits his children. That's not babysitting.
No, that's not babysitting.
It's parenting.
That's parenting.
or in my friend circle, several years ago, a friend of a friend passed away, and she had just had a baby, and she had 2 other children. And I watched how the community of her friends, mostly Black women, rallied around her and gave all this support to that man for like 5 years after her death. And I thought, but if she had died, she wouldn't have gotten none of that. Because somehow, it's like there was all the extra help because he was a man. But I know that if it had been reversed and he had passed instead of her, and she was people would just, oh well, that she just got to do what women do, like take care of the kids, and there would have been no all of that extra helping for 5 years.
I lived that firsthand as a dad when my kid was young, and like I would push back because I got a loud mouth and try to
You're Italian and from New York. Okay, keep going.
I was talking to mostly other New Yorkers, but like, I don't let that kind of bullshit go uncommented on. Yeah. And it's like, my kid has 2 dads, right? So it's like, if one of her parents is gonna buy her clothes, is gonna be a dad. I mean, they don't need to they like. I don't need to give them a lecture on my non-binary gender. Like they don't need, right? Like I show up and I'm her dad, and so it's like, oh, how nice that a dad would take the kid to the park. I'm like, well, who the fuck else is
That's all she's got is dads.
I'm like, it's called.
You want us to borrow a neighbor lady and have her take the kid to the park? Like what?
Oh, did you pick out these clothes all by yourself? And I'm like,
so
who the fuck else is gonna pick them out?
I'm gonna tell you a story. There's a thing that happened to me when I first moved to Baltimore that incensed me so badly. I thought I was gonna have to put my own self on house arrest because I ran the Chicago Marathon in 2007.
God bless.
I did a couple halves, and when I got to Baltimore, I was just trying to get back to running, and so I started getting back into running, and I was doing a half. I had just gotten up to where I was doing this half marathon, and I'm on the back end like this. I'm in my last 7 miles, right, or the last 5 miles. And as I turn this corner, there's a woman who I would read as a woman of color, non-Black woman of color, coming toward me. She's jogging. And when she sees me coming around the corner, she stops running and starts clapping and cheering at me like, oh my God, look at you. Like she had just saw like a cat ciphering trigonometry. Like she had just witnessed the formation of the heavens and the earth. And
you are a glorious sight to behold, Dante.
I am, but I was like, if I didn't just want to finish these last 4 miles, I might have some heat for this person. But in her, she was witnessing like a miracle. And I don't condone violence, but I have to tell you, it did evoke violent energy inside of me.
Did you use that to motivate you?
Yes, I was like, I'm almost home. I can't stop now because it's gonna suck my energy. But this notion that, so our theme this month is around generosity, and I just think being part of generosity is understanding the human capacity to be human, and we should stop behaving surprised and fascinated by humans being human.
Right? Yeah.
There's nothing fascinating. oh, because I have a large body, you're with. It's not like Shamu came around the corner on its fins, like with a bib on. Like I'm trying to remember.
With a knife and fork and ready to have dinner. Yeah.
But she
No,
she
don't put it
literally
past the orcas.
she literally stopped running, pointed at me, and then started clapping and yelling. Like, look at you. Yeah. And that's how I feel in these moments when people are discovering that humans have a capacity for evil and that many of us suffer from it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Nicole Thibodeau.
Nicole says,
I knew Nicole was going to do something.
Listen, I'm not holding anything past the orcas.
Yeah, no, true that. They're legit entertaining assholes.
There was a map. Speaking of orcas, and I don't know. This is a total non sequitur. There was a map of I think it was St. Bart's in the Caribbean at New Year's, and all of the billionaires' yachts that were parked there. Like, apparently, it was some gathering for billionaires' yachts, and they were like, "Quick, get these maps to the orcas."
Oh yeah, because those whales were tearing up the boats for a minute.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there are orcas anywhere near the Caribbean. They are cold water whales. But
for the right incentive, like they're just that evil. Although to be fair, I think it's the humpbacks hate orcas so bad that if they hear orcas hunting, they will just go and punk them for hours.
they'll go like save seals from them.
Yep. Like, actually, like, get on my back, seal. We're going to take you out of here.
So you're saying they're petty?
Oh, but that's beyond petty. That's just like, ooh, ow, damn. So, we should talk about the fact that 200 UU ministers or thereabouts went to Minneapolis this weekend.
Yes. And we're called there by a multiracial justice coalition.
Mm-hmm.
Answered the call to go. The UU Service Committee helped pay for a lot of those ministers to go, and we are grateful to them. I don't know exactly how much money they put up, but they did offer $500 grants to pay for travel.
Nice.
And they did some holy work.
Yeah, they did. Some of the most sweet, sort of under the radar, law-abiding people I know went and got arrested. And I'm just sort of like, in our friendship, you're the one with the arrest record? Like,
well, and a lot of them were I think they prioritized the local Minnesota clergy getting arrested, shutting down the airport.
Yep. Yeah.
For example, and so they're Minnesota UU clergy. Of course, they're nice.
Right. Yes. Right.
They're at home there, and they're wonderful people who did wonderful things.
Yes.
And
then there were the renegades who went over the smitten kitten. Did you hear about that?
We did not. Please tell us about it.
Oh, yes. There's a delightful post that's gone around social media, Facebook, and a group of 4 people went to the Smitten Kitten, which is a woman-owned, woman-positive sex toy shop and educational resource in Minneapolis. And they bought out the clearance bin.
The dildo.
Of dildos, yes. A clearance bin of dildos that were like 2 years. Hang on.
Cue the music.
Stop. Go away. Stop already. Jeez. So they bought out, they left with like this big box of random outdated stock of dildos. and they had some adventures, like car got towed, had to go get it, had lunch, whatever. Showed up at the hotel where the ICE agents were staying, and there were state police in front of, like, guarding the hotel to keep the protesters away. And somebody launched one of these little dildos into the air, and it bounced boink 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 and landed right at the feet of one of the officers. The whole crowd of them apparently lost their mind and fired tear gas and all manner of stuff. Like, they just lost their shit. And like, the crowd there was just, they were joyful and they were laughing, and yeah, they were coughing and gas mask and all that other stuff. But holy shit, watch us undo fragile masculinity. Like, and if you look in the pictures, you can see a handful, maybe a half dozen brightly colored, ridiculous dildos around them. And there are people, like, holding them up like Lady Liberty, right? With a torch, but with a dildo. Oh man. Like, because authoritarianism cannot withstand the ridiculous. It was brilliant. And the writing was just, it was brilliant writing too that did it. Like, if you Google Minnesota ICE dildos, you'll get there to this story. Too funny.
But, you know, have safe search on, because
right, you might not want to do that search at work.
And while we're holding up people participating in acts of resistance, I also want to shout out the interfaith clergy who got arrested at Susan Collins' office in Maine.
Right.
Trying to make her know their displeasure with the ways that the Republicans are scheming to fund the Department of Homeland Security, which thankfully has been blocked so far.
Yeah. Susan Collins.
Go on, Dante.
She has never not fucked up an opportunity to do the right thing.
You know, I'm going to get real Christian here for another second.
Okay.
Because I think Yeshua of Nazareth was probably somebody I would really want to run around with. And so when I read some of the things ascribed to them, I feel like, oh, this one happened. Or I would want to hang with the person who said this. And this whole thing about when Yeshua said to the people, be hot or cold, but if you lukewarm, I will spew you out of my mouth. Like, and I'm like, that's real wisdom. That's real and ancient. And Susan Collins is always something I want to spit out of my fucking mouth. Like, because you won't stand. If you're going to be an asshole, stand on it. If you hate people and you hate justice and you don't want most people to live a full life,
proudly wave your MAGA. Proudly wave your MAGA. I am an asshole flag. Right?
Just stand on that shit. But all of this mealy mouth back and forth bullshit that you want, because at the end of the day, we know that you're going to side with whatever foolishness the Republicans pull. Because that's what you hem and haw like, maybe, and then you always vote with them. So shut up. Like, stop.
Yeah. Anytime her vote is going to make a difference, it doesn't.
Truth.
For real, she will only vote in the opposition if she's not the only one.
Well, she's not the deciding vote.
No, she's incapable of that. Yeah.
If there are enough other people joining her.
And the thing is,
margin.
Because of Maine's unique history with Margaret Chase Smith, who was the one who gave the first speech to take down Joe McCarthy. Like, she is a revered figure here in Maine. Susan Collins so badly wants to be remembered like Margaret Chase Smith, and she won't. Not only is she in Margaret Chase Smith's shadow, but she's in Olympia Snow's shadow. And Olympia Snow was a lot of things, but mealy mouth wasn't one of them. I disagreed with her on almost everything, but you never questioned where she stood, you know? And she was the first one in congressional hearings to rake insurance companies across the coals about why are you covering Viagra but not birth control? Right? This Republican woman from Maine. And so Susan Collins came in after that. For the record, their staffs hated each other. Hated each other. I was a newspaper editor, and I would get, press releases from both parties, and I called one time, and they were like, ugh. Yeah, it was really funny, but yeah, the two women were not close. They were not close, and part of it was Olympia had a spine of steel, and Susan doesn't have a spine.
So we are glad that our interfaith colleagues, including Unitarian Universalist clergy,
Yep.
went to her office and wouldn't leave.
Yes.
Nicole reminds me of another story I saw about
Oh yes.
Blockading the doors to an ICE office somewhere in Vermont
Mm-hmm.
and refusing to leave. And the local police kept coming in and like picking them up and removing them and taking them outside. And they would like just stand up and walk back in and sit
Yep.
down again, until the local police went, you know what? These folks are exercising their First Amendment rights. Like maybe we have to close down the office for the day.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and eventually it got dark and they went home.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Heard a story about ICE showing up at a construction site here in Maine, and with all the snow, they had like the roof trusses up, so they just had tarps over them to keep the snow out. And ICE showed up and they just like hauled up all the ladders and sat there. How you doing? Hola, go away. And they called the fire department. The fire department told them to piss off. We're not bringing our trucks out in this weather so that you can be assholes. No, go do something else. And so eventually ICE left.
I mean, I hope that the fire department would say it is not our job to enforce federal immigration law.
In Maine, they're more likely to say piss off or fuck off. But yeah. Oh, you want it? No, we're not doing that. Not my job.
I note that the hate pumpkin, the president of the United States, is currently all a Twitter because the mayor of Minneapolis has said that it is not the job of the Minneapolis Police Department to enforce federal immigration law, which
Right.
it's not. Like, let's be really clear, it's not. But like someone saying that makes the Cheeto in chief great.
And the Minnesota National Guard showed up and started handing out coffee and cocoa and pizza and water.
Yep. Oh, and Darby reminds us that there is a protest yesterday. Was a protest yesterday at the Dilley, Texas ICE facility.
Yep.
And the Texas UU Justice Ministry folks were instrumental in getting folks there. That facility in Texas is where that 5-year-old kidnapped in Minneapolis was taken, and we're glad that our Texas folks are protesting their presence there and calling attention to the horrors that, it's not just that they kidnap folks, it's what happens after they kidnap folks too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Darby.
And I just think it's important to remind ourselves, because it's not just others, we are here because good progressives couldn't figure out how to vote for a black woman.
Yep.
Same people who voted for Barack Obama twice.
Or a white woman.
Figure out how to vote for the black woman.
Right. Yeah. Or any woman.
Who was more qualified than he was when he ran the first time.
Oh, yeah. All of the women who have run against him are more qualified than him.
So
the black lab that comes down my street every now and then is more qualified than him. But
I'd say Stormy Daniels would be a better president than him.
Like we are living through this because people could not figure out how to
Mhm.
vote for a black woman. And I was like, but do you know how often non-white people and non-male people, we hold our nose and vote for candidates that we personally don't, it's not our personal preference, but we
Mm-hmm.
think it's the best way forward for most of us.
It's getting
Well,
on a bus. It's not getting married.
and can we also put some light on the fact that the Democratic power establishment is currently scheming to figure out who to get us to hold our nose and
Mhm.
vote for in 2028, like which bullshit namby-pamby sell people out, throw trans people under the bus Democrat,
White man.
the white dude, right,
Mhm.
because they are, they want to put up. And I'm like, you know what, I think, like, if Gavin Newsom is the Democratic nominee, I will have reached the limit of vote blue no matter who for me. And like, that's saying something for me. Like,
Hmm.
thankfully I live in New York, which is not a swing state, but like, I will have reached the limit because I'm just I
And yeah. The national powers in the Democratic Party are really, really concerning me. Um, Janet Mills is the governor of Maine. Um, and I covered her as a newspaper reporter back when she was a district attorney in a tiny little county up in the mountains. She's tough as a bag of hammers. And she's a great governor. And she's cruising up towards 80. And somebody somewhere said, you should really run for senator against Susan Collins. And she's doing it. And
and when is that primary? When do
June,
we
June.
June?
We do primaries in June. Um,
Once the
and
snow is melted?
there's a youngish upstart guy who's like a local oyster farmer who's just like, look, I'm a regular guy and I've got opinions about all this stuff. And I mean, his policy stances are solid, his white papers are good, but he has so terrified the national powers that they're just like, nope, nope, got to have Janet. And I'm
I
like,
mean, he's not without his problems.
no, that is true. That is true. But
Let's be clear.
But the national people don't understand the reality on the ground in the states. The national people don't understand that there are two Maines, two very distinct Maines. There's the liberals, which are south of Augusta, mostly Portland south. And then there's everybody else that voted red.
Mhm.
Okay. And we had this same argument with the National Gay Lesbian Task Force. Is that what they are? I don't remember. In '09 for the marriage equality thing, they came in and tried to tell us how to knock doors in rural counties because they think you could just go around the block and knock on 30 doors in an hour. And we're like, no, you don't understand.
Well, and let's also be clear that Susan Collins was reelected 6 years ago
Mm-hmm.
because the person running against her had too much support from outside Maine.
I don't
And
even remember who that was.
I don't remember who it was either, to be quite honest with you, but it was a fine candidate who was seen as someone put up by the Democratic establishment and supported by non-Mainers. And the Mainers,
Yeah, and Mainers don't like being told what to do by anybody.
I don't even remember who it was. I don't remember who it was. I remember the outcome of the election and the reasons that were given that that people in Maine said. Sarah Gideon was the candidate.
Really? I absolutely don't remember her.
She was the Speaker of the Maine House of Representatives
Okay, which means I should know her.
and a Democrat from Freeport.
Freeport. That's the death knell. That's the death knell. That's Yuppieville.
That's where LL Bean is, right?
Yep. Yep.
Just a good note that I think has been overshadowed by, imperialism is that our beloved president, Reverend Dr. Sophia Bentecourt, received this year's Faith Award at the Creating Change conference.
Oh, yay, good.
And so that's a pretty big deal. And so congratulations, Reverend Dr. Sophia Bentecourt.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, and rightly so, right? Like a well-deserved accolade, the Faith Leader Award.
And she was on the ground in Minnesota too.
Yes, she was.
Yep.
So,
We can also mention how she is doing some really overdue retrofitting in UUA infrastructure. Moving some things around, putting people with new skills in positions, and it is a different UUA than it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
I don't know. I think that you use like to shuffle around the staff and think that it's actually systemic change. So I don't know how different it is. I wish I had your optimism about that, even if I trust her. Like,
she is far more patient and strategic than I am.
Oh my God, yes.
Right? Like I can't strategize past the rest of my sandwich.
I know.
I can't strategize past the rest of my sandwich over here, right? But she has such an understanding of the long game.
Yes.
And a capacity to tolerate the incrementalism to start the momentum, or to further give it a shove, right? And so I'm impressed with how that's been working.
Yeah, I don't mean what I say as a criticism of her presidency or her. I think she's doing good stuff. I just mean it as a profound cynicism about the ways in which institutions change.
Gen X, baby. We don't trust nothing for nobody.
That's all I mean it as, is profound cynicism.
Right.
Yeah, it's
right.
I mean, it feels. Let me see. I came in 2016-ish, which feels like yesterday, but it really wasn't.
10 years ago now.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh my God, it's been 10 years. Now it feels different to me. But I'm never sure. Does it feel different because I'm more active, or does it feel different, or am I more active because it's different?
That's a valid question.
And I don't,
Or is your becoming more active helping to make it different?
I think the answer to that is yes.
All of the above.
Yeah.
D.
D. Yeah, D. All of the above. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I just, I remember a conversation I had with Lena Gardner, the executive director of Blue, at a General Assembly 10 years ago, maybe
Portland?
9 years ago. I don't even remember. It was a General Assembly where, I think it was New Orleans. So that would have been 2017.
Yep.
Yeah.
So 9 years ago, where she was getting death threats as the executive director of Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism.
From Unitarian Universalists.
Unitarian Universalists.
Who signed their names.
And some really good folks with Lena's consent and request, um, organized basically a bodyguard schedule for her of uh, white people who would not take any bullshit. And I was one of them, right? And all I needed to do was walk with her from place to place
Mm-hmm.
my allotted period of time, but it meant we had some lovely conversations. And when someone she said to me, she's like, "Could you make sure that nobody touches me without my consent?" I'm like, "Great." So like, someone would like go in for a hug, and I would just intercept them and hug them, and like they didn't dare say, "Oh, I didn't want to hug you." They would just be so flustered that we'd be able to walk away. And it happened many, many times. But we had one of the wonderful conversations we had was how, for me as a white person, the existence of blue, Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism, as an unapologetically black form of Unitarian Universalism
Mm-hmm.
keeps me in our faith sometimes. And it was true in 2017. It's not as true anymore. That like I'm not as marginalized, but or feeling as marginal. But there were moments then that I said, if these folks can create this space
Mm-hmm.
in this faith, then I will fight to make this faith survive.
Right.
Right? Like I will do whatever I have to do to fight to make this faith survive.
Yeah.
Right? Which, I can't be the only person who has ever thought that.
Mm-hmm.
There are,
And so, I think the birth of Blue, and when was that? Right? 2015, 2016?
Let me see. It was at the BLM convening in Cleveland. Was that 14? 15?
Yeah, that would have been 14. No, that would have been the same year as the Pulse shooting.
It was sometime right before the 2017 General Assembly.
So it would have been 15 or 16.
Yeah,
No,
it had to be 15 because I found them in 16. Yeah.
15 was Portland. 15 was Portland. 16 was Cleveland.
The birth of Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism catalyzed institutional change in a way that we had not seen for a long time. Like in a way that even my cynical, jaded Generation X New Yorker crusty mind can witness.
Yeah.
Right.
And appreciate.
Yeah.
And and I think so, like you came in 2016, Dante, in part because that space existed.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. And the institutional change is not incidental to that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I found Blue through The View.
Yes, because we had on.
There would be somebody on like almost every week.
Well, we had an agreement with Blue that at least one show a month. They got to like make the agenda and supply the guests. And actually you can look on YouTube. There's still a Blue on the View playlist on YouTube of all of those shows.
But yeah, so that it was, and I came and it's interesting how things come full circle because some of y'all know I'm finishing my doctoral degree in ministry and I'm finishing my final paper, and I found myself I'm trying to write graphics, right? Charts, figures, and I was making this chart about how I understand. I'm sort of constructing a theology and like how I understand it, but what does it look like on its face? So I actually I'm talking about this liturgy that I'm building, and the liturgy is meant to be an embodiment of this constructed theology. But writing about it and then constructing the liturgy, helps me see different components. And one of the components was, it reminded me that for me, social movement activity is always a sign of spirit. Like that's where, and that's why I became a UU, because when I began reading about all that was happening with Blue, I was like, oh, the spirit is over there. The spirit is moving over. Let me go over here, like, because they're doing something. Again, I study social movements. I was like, they're doing something big. Let me go check this out, and that's how because I've known about I know about Unitarianism for over a decade by then, but I was just like, it's just too white. I can't do it. But when I saw the work that they were really doing, not just talking about, but doing, I was like, I got to go check these people out.
Yeah, there are a handful of people, and several of whom I have really pissed off with my ignorance early on, and who may or may not ever want to talk to me again. And I get that, right? We all come from somewhere, and okay. The best way to fix that is to change my behavior and my stuff. And when I see them at GA, I think, okay, we've still got a chance. If they're still showing up, I know there's hope for our movement. Because sometimes, we get so wrapped up around infighting and dumb shit and language and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And if I see that one and that one, okay, all right, there's still hope, because people here are seeing something when I'm too frustrated to see that stuff. So, okay, that's good. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Blue saved religion for me. I don't think I would still be deeply spiritual, but I think they saved religion for me.
Can you say more?
I had just disinvested from all religious institutional life. I was just like, these motherfuckers just are never. And again, I've been not just Christian. Like, I was a seeker. I've been around. I've been in the new black religions, the reclamation of ancient African traditions. I've been in the black church. I had been around. I'd done it all. I'd hung out with the pagans, the Wiccans. And guess what I found out? The same bullshit was in every last one of those spaces.
Well, because they're all populated by people.
Humans, right. And that's what became very discouraging. Was like, oh, I can't be my queer self over here. Oh, but guess what? These New World African spiritualists told me I can't be queer over there either. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Even though some of our Orisha are not gendered in a by, male or female kind of way, but okay, whatever. I guess I ain't supposed to know that. I ran into so many barriers to being in religious community that it just made more sense to just stop. To just stay out of it.
No, I get it. I get it. Yeah. Yeah. You can be black here, but not queer. You can be queer here, but not black. You can, yeah.
It was very, very discouraging. Not because I didn't understand my call or my gifts or my potential or any of that, but because evil is real. One of my statements is evil doesn't sleep, but the righteous need naps.
Oh God, that's too.
Oh, that might be our theme, LJ. That might be sleep, but the righteous need naps.
The hardest thing about oppression is that because evil doesn't sleep, the righteous are always weary. And it's hard to fight and be weary.
Mm-hmm. Well, so to bring like we have 5 minutes left, to bring our conversation kind of full circle, it's one of the things that calls me to celebrate the resistance, right? To celebrate the communities that are taking care of each other, that are feeding each other, that are like feeding the protesters, that are calling in the reinforcements when they're weary, when they're too weary to do it by themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Like we need. It's hard to fight when you're weary, and people are fighting
Those guys don't ever seem to get tired. Like, what the fuck?
because evil doesn't sleep.
It really don't. But the righteous need a nap. Every time. Every time. I know that our good sisters from Sweet Honey in the Rock say we who believe in freedom will not rest. But I'm like, actually, I'm going to bed. I believe in freedom. And because I do, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Because my body.
Well, the collective we
Yeah.
can't rest, but the individual we's all need to.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yes.
we who believe in freedom figure out how to let you go to bed and let me do some stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's a relay, not a marathon.
Caleb and DC will do some stuff.
It's a relay, not a marathon. Everybody take your turn with the stick running around the circle and then hand it off to somebody.
Darby wants it on a t-shirt. I think we're going to have to make that happen.
Yeah, totally.
Evil doesn't sleep, but the righteous need a nap. Dante Hilliard.
I'm telling you, that's real.
I might get it in the CLF merch store.
Hey, you know.
For real. For real.
Yeah, that's a thing. And yeah.
That's
maybe
a little
all
piece of
find a
truth.
rested future.
Yes, right? Yeah. And I talked about that last week in my sermon about how it's not a marathon. It's not a sprint and it's not a marathon, you know, and it's like when you have a choir of 200 voices and you need to hold the note for a whole freaking long time, everybody takes a turn breathing, but they don't all do it at once. That way they can continue the volume and the tone.
Well, see, now we have a theme. Thank you both.
Look at that.
Dante, that was Dante, not
We
me.
have reached the top of the hour.
Yes.
I might spend my afternoon doing some graphic design to see what Dante thinks about a t-shirt with that slogan on it. And I love you both.
Yes.
And I love
You too. And thank you to all our people who watch.
Yes, thank you, beloveds. Darby and Nicole, our weekly regulars.
And
And
Layla. Yeah. Thank you all.
we love you. And we have some guests on board for February, right?
Yeah, we do.
And we're looking forward to guests, even though the host roundtables are saucy and salty and fun. So,
Well, ideally, any guest on our program is also going to be salty and saucy and fun.
ideally, it doesn't always work out that way, but ideally.
Yeah.
We're working on getting President Sophia Betancourt on the show. She's been a little busy.
A little, yeah.
She's like, yes, I want to be on the show.
And
She's been a little busy.
Yeah. How does 2020?
How does like after I'm no longer president sound? I'm going to reach out to Rebecca Savage and try and get her on the show after she starts her new role at the UUA. It's going to be a fun spring with saucy and salty and fun people.
Yes.
We love you.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Take care. All right.
Thank you for joining us. Special thanks to everyone who gives generously to this ministry. It is because of you that this ministry is possible.
Visit clfuu.org/give to make a contribution.
We hope you will join